Hello and welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, the host for the show, and we greatly appreciate your taking time to be with us today. We've got a great show lined up. Melinda Bougeois, who is with Tour de Jefferson. Dr. James Meza, who is the superintendent for Jefferson Parish School System, is going to be on talking about a critical vote coming up. David Warner with the National Kidney Foundation. They've got a golf tournament coming up that you can be a part of. Monica Silane with the Posse Foundation, an incredible organization that's offering some wonderful services for our high school kids. And finally, Amy Smallwood, who is with the Louisiana Cultural Economy Foundation, is going to be joining us. Thank you again for being a part of the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Across Louisiana. Steve Sawyer again, and we're so happy you joined us today. We've got a great show lined up for you, and to get us started, if you're into family bike riding, do we have the event for you? Melinda Bougeois is here, and Melinda's representing the Jefferson Chamber, and she's going to be talking about Tour de Jefferson. Melinda, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Got a great event coming up.
It is, and it's a lot of fun, and if the weather's nice, it's a Sunday morning bike ride, seeing some of the great recreational venues in Jefferson Parish. Most people don't even know where Bayou Signet is, but it's a state park on the West Bank. And so we have a
great little state park.
Great state park. Beautiful, beautiful.
And you're right, most people don't even know we have a state park.
And it's right on West Bank Expressway.
Yeah.
But then we go over from there to the the Mississippi River Trail, which is a beautiful ride under the UP Long Bridge down to West Wego, which has now a historic market street. And in our first rest area is at the West Wego's Farmers Market, which is kind of neat.
That's a great little place.
It is a great little place. And interestingly enough, it's kind of the interesting part of the ride, I think, is 4th Street, which is not a beautiful street, but it's kind of a lot of history on it. And then we go to the first new school built in Jefferson Parish in 25 years, Woodmere Elementary, which is one of our rest areas as well. One of the nice things, and we do have an 11-mile ride for the new cyclists who are not sure they can make 25, can make 25, 35. So we have the 11-mile, and that's kind of a nice ride. And after the 11-mile, we'll actually have activities for people to do. So before what we call the Fendi Tour, it's an after-ride celebration with food and lunch and drinks and music and things like that. But if you continue on for the 25-mile ride, you actually go to the Jean Lafitte National Park, and we'll actually pick you up there, or you can come back to Bayou Signet for the 35-mile ride. If you're really ambitious, we have the 50-mile ride, which goes down to the town of Lafitte, and in the town of Lafitte, we'll have the rest area at the new museum there, which is kind of neat.
I know exactly.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful ride in itself.
It is, and what's really neat for the people who like to ride, you go over the Lafitte Bridge, which is like a straight-up bridge.
Yeah,
yeah. So they do that, and that's kind of neat. I mean, I think
for them.
Because we don't have mountains and
no, but we have that bridge.
But we have bridges you can ride over, so they do that.
Well, then let's point out real quick. This is not a race.
No, it is a ride.
But you do have people that, let's be honest. I ride bikes. There's fast riders. There's slow riders. It's a family event. Enjoy the day when you come to the places along the ride. And I think that's what's so great is you can stop, take advantage. You're in no hurry to finish.
That's correct.
I just want to point out when we say Tour de Jefferson,
this
is not a race.
It's a ride. It's a recreational ride.
If you want to race your friends,
and they do, so the people who like to ride, they do, and they have a good time, and that's fantastic. Yeah. But really, it is supposed to be a recreational ride.
Well, your website is tourdejefferson.org.
That's
all
correct.
the information about the race can be on there. It's a $35 entry fee for adults, and how much for children?
$17.
And it is a fundraiser. There is a cost because it's a fundraiser for the Jefferson Chamber, and you're also providing food and drink.
That's correct. And safety and motorcycle volunteer. It really,
I think that's critical.
I agree with you, and that's I always say the reason we're successful is for the sheriff's office because they make it so safe.
Yeah.
They at every major intersection. We have motorcycle volunteers. I mean, these guys come out and volunteer, ride the whole route, and make sure that cars stay away from the riders.
Wow. So don't be afraid to bring the kids.
That's correct. It really is. It really is a lot of fun. Usually the weather is good. Everyone enjoys it, and it's an opportunity to get together and do something and see Jefferson Parish.
How many riders do you think you'll have?
Last year we had 700, so we're hoping for 1,000 this year. 1,000 riders. Wow. So a good, nice group of people.
That's great.
A lot of people do teams.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So some companies have teams. Okay. Then we actually have volunteers who put teams together to do the rest areas.
Yeah. Well, Melinda, again, the website is tourdejefferson.org. Best of luck for a wonderful event, October the 19th. I'm a big bike rider. You may see me out there riding 11 miles only. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. We are honored to have with us, joining us right now, the Superintendent for Jefferson Parish Schools, Dr. James Meza. And Dr. Meza, congratulations on all the fine work you're doing with the school system, you and your team. Just accolades galore are coming out, and you know, as someone whose daughter went through the public school system, I just can't thank you enough for what you guys do. The Jefferson Parish school system is doing great, probably better than ever. With that lead in, you've got a big vote coming up on October the 19th, so I appreciate you coming in to take time to talk about the millage vote, because I think a lot of people really don't understand what that involves. So if you can just let us know about the vote and what all's involved in that, this is a good chance to do that.
Right. Well, Steve, thanks. Thanks for the very nice introduction, and also for the support that Cox always provides
Thank you.
the school system and the families of the school system. You know, we do have a very important election on October 19th, and it's a tax renewal. This property tax has been in place for over 20 years. It funds about $23 million, or 5% of our operating budget.
Wow.
So it's core funding that we're using every day. And as you know, when we came to Jefferson Parish a little over 2 years ago, the district was overspending about $20 million annually. So we had to make some very, very tough decisions. We had to eliminate about 200 positions. We had to reduce spending about $20 million. So we were able to balance the budget. That's why this money is so important. We've already made those real difficult decisions and bringing things into a level of, I call it equilibrium, so that we could channel more resources to the classroom, align funding to the priority and needs of teachers and students. If this tax renewal, and I call it, let's invest in education,
Absolutely.
let's continue to invest in the success of Jefferson Parish, it would be devastating for us to lose this money. And you know, Jefferson over the last 2 years, a lot of people don't really understand our progress.
Right.
We have been ranked in the top 10 in Louisiana. It's the most improved school system in Louisiana. John White, actually the state superintendent, calls Jefferson the mecca of educational reform. And as Louisiana moves forward, Jefferson will drive that because of our size. We're the largest school system in Louisiana. But that doesn't stop us. We have the highest number of A and B schools in Louisiana. We have one of the highest numbers of highly effective teachers, the highest number of national merit finalists, and we have our challenges. You know, we're about 78% of our students are on free and reduced lunch, which means we have a high number of low-income families, but every day we have to drive to meet the needs of this population. That money helps us. It helps us on pre-kindergarten. It helps us hire additional support staff to work with some of our non-English-speaking families and students. It also will be used to advance our bus transportation. In Jefferson Parish, about 38% of the school-age child goes to a non-public school. Jefferson Parish provides transportation to non-public school students. And we try to do this just as we do the public school students. That is, give them personal care, try to coordinate routes to service the schools. We really need a non-public school parents also to step up and to support public education, because as you know, Steve, public education is the catalyst of economic development.
Absolutely.
Public education drives our workforce for the next generation, and public education is the most important factor in controlling crime. So if we're going to have quality of life improve in Jefferson, it'll stem from a high-quality public education system.
And it's up to us. I mean, it's up to the public. I don't even want to think what if it doesn't pass, because everything you just said, the progress, the accolades, all the great stuff that's going forward. I mean, if this doesn't pass, I hate to say it, all that stops. And you know, I look at the camera and I tell our audience right now, it's up to us to make this happen. So please, on October 19th, make the vote count. Public education needs it. Dr. Meza and his team are doing an incredible job at the school system. So thank you so much. I know you're busy.
Yes,
and
sir.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, and appreciate you taking time to do that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Across Louisiana. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the show today, and we're very happy to have Mr. David Warner with us in the studio. David is with the National Kidney Foundation, and you've got an upcoming fundraiser,
Absolutely.
A golf tournament. And David, on the shows we talk about fundraisers because fundraisers are critical in raising monies for organizations. And the one thing Louisiana does well is they tie events to fundraisers. And to me, as a golfer, there's nothing better than a golf tournament. So first of all, talk about the National Kidney Foundation, a little bit about what the foundation does, and then we'll get into the golf tournament.
Okay, well, the National Kidney Foundation Louisiana, statewide nonprofit health organization. We obviously focus on kidney disease, the prevention, education, awareness about kidney disease. You know, there's over 460,000 people in the state of Louisiana who suffer from or are at risk of kidney disease. You know, it's one of those things that a lot of people don't think about it until it happens to them. You know, so our main services are providing support services to those affected or at risk of kidney disease. And you know, one of the biggest things we're doing right now is obviously, as I said, with our event, we spread out the money a lot. You know, we do things such as crisis funds for those who are on dialysis, and we actually recently just did a program where we actually sent 20 children who suffer from kidney disease to a summer camp that's specifically for them. And a lot of people don't understand that when kids have kidney disease, they have to go through dialysis more often, and they're a lot more restricted in what they're able to do on a day-to-day basis. So through efforts of some of the hospitals around here, social workers, and the Kidney Foundation, we were able to send some of these kids to a camp in Houston for a week, where they're able to actually have, even for a week, a chance to be a kid, do the things that normal kids honestly take for granted a lot. So.
And David, things like the golf tournament, I mean, again, fundraisers, it's just a business that you have to do. You have to raise money.
Absolutely.
As long as you're offering services that are free and everything, you've got to have money to do that with. The golf tournament is, I believe it's your 23rd annual golf tournament?
23rd. We're coming up with 25 years. We have great community partners here in New Orleans. This year's tournament is held at Chateau Golf and Country Club.
Great golf course.
It's an amazing golf course. I was actually out there this past week. Amazing shape, amazing staff. We're going to have, amazing food out there. Obviously a great tournament. We're already starting to fill up. And we're really excited about the event coming up, And we've paired it up with a pre-event party that we'll host at Harris.
Oh, great.
There'll be...
That's part of the golf tournament?
Correct.
So if you register for the golf tournament?
Yeah, if you remember, if you play in the golf tournament, you get an invitation to that.
Wow.
It's an amazing event. We'll have anywhere between 600 and 800 people there. We'll have 200 to 300 silent auction items, so very large, nice trips that we're going to do in live auction. What I tell most people is that there's free food and drinks.
That'll do it.
So that usually gets people in the door. So
what's the registration fee for the golf tournament?
For the golf tournament, it's $1,100. We have
team of four?
For a team of four. Right. We have various other sponsorship levels, all the way from a $100 hole sponsor to a $6,500 gold sponsor level. We've been very fortunate, which obviously we have Harris as sponsorship, Cox, as well as Brian Subaru, Hirschon International Symmetry Jewelers and designers, Fine Line Design and Graphics, and several other ones.
And David, the date again is November the 4th for the tournament. It's a Monday. Always a great day for a golf tournament. David, your website is kidneyla.org.
That's correct.
You can find information about the golf tournament, the Harris pre-party,
absolutely,
how to register and all that.
Yeah, and if anyone needs more information, then call me. My number is 504-861-4500.
David, thank you so much for coming in. Please, please, please come back and talk to us again about the Kidney Foundation and all the great things that you guys are doing. We appreciate you taking time to come in, be a part of the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Across Louisiana. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Great organization we're getting ready to talk about, the Posse Foundation, and we've got Monica Silane in the studio with us right now to talk about that. And Monica, I was just reading a little bit about the Posse Foundation. What an incredible organization this is. So just, if you will, talk about the organization and kind of the mission of the organization and what you do.
Okay, fabulous. So what we do in the Posse Foundation is we identify outstanding young leaders, they're high school students, and these kids would otherwise be overlooked by top colleges. We select them, we train them, and we send them off to these top colleges together as a team of 10 or a posse, and they support each other for 4 years. In addition to that, my staff and I, we support them as well from the senior year of high school until they go off into their careers. So Posse nationally has been around for 25 years. New Orleans was the 8th site that I opened 3 years ago. And we have a national persistence and graduation rate of 90+%.
90+%. That's
90+%,
incredible.
absolutely.
Now,
yeah.
what is this an Orleans parish only, or what parishes do you serve?
Yeah, so we serve 5 parishes:
Okay.
Orleans, Jefferson, St. Bernard, South Plaquemine, and St. Charles parishes. So we have a nominating network that consists of every public high school in those 5 parishes, as well as community-based organizations.
So your website is possefoundation.org. If I go to the website, of course I'll find information about the Posse Foundation. Will it tell me how I can get more involved in the foundation or be selected to be one of the students that you're going to be working with?
Absolutely, right? And so you can find information on the website. There's also a link and information about how to contact my office via email and or via telephone. But what we do is really unique is we go out every spring semester to all of our nominating network every year, and we talk about Posse and why we're in the city and why it's really important.
Before we go, we want to talk about, you've got a big event coming up called the Power of 10,
Yes,
Posse, and that's going to be on October 23rd. So real quick, tell us about that.
Sure. The Power of 10 is our first annual fundraiser for the Posse Foundation here in New Orleans. It's a worthy cause. We'll be celebrating the impact of Posse over the first 3 years in the New Orleans metro area, the exciting alumni for Posse who've come to the city of New Orleans and are making an impact, as well as all of those that have supported us throughout the first 3 years.
Monica, it's great stuff that you're doing. Please come back and update us on the Posse Foundation and things that you've got going on in the future. I know you've got an award ceremony coming up in January. We're not going to talk about that because I'm going to make you come back on the show to talk about that at a later date. Monica, thanks so much for taking time to be here today. We greatly appreciate it, and best of success with the Power of 10 coming up. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana again. Thank you so much for taking time to be a part of the show today. Our final guest today is Miss Amy Smallwood. Amy is the CEO for the Louisiana Cultural Economy Foundation. And Amy, as always, thanks so much for taking time to be here.
I'm thrilled.
Well,
Thanks.
let's talk about the Cultural Foundation and what you guys do and the services that you offer, because I really don't think a lot of people fully understand the services that you provide.
True. We're a nonprofit organization. We're statewide, but not a state agency. And we serve cultural workers and the cultural industries. And in our definition, that means all of the things that make Louisiana unique, like culinary, architecture, design, Mardi Gras Indians, and artists, of course. So what we do is provide access to capital and access to healthcare resources.
And your website is culturaleconomy.org.
Yes.
So organizations going to the website naturally can find out more about the organization. But does the website give things that I can sign up for where I might need assistance and things like that?
We have a grant round every year. We're about to announce a new grant as well, and then possibly by the end of the year, a microloan program. So there's a lot of resources on the site. We also have a resources section, so we gather information from all over the state so that cultural workers can go there and access it. But we also encourage people to sign up for our newsletter on our website because we can send them information as it comes available.
Wow. And information would be information regarding things that would assist them and things that you provide that would do that?
Absolutely. And when I say access to capital and access to healthcare, we mean that. When we find resources for them that can help them to be more sustainable, more economically self-sufficient, we put it out there to them. We can connect them to those things and to business resources. And then in terms of healthcare, if we, for instance, can give a free lung screening for musicians who work in smoky clubs or some
That's
sort
a
of
great
free
example. Great
yeah,
example.
and plus we do some free dental days. Those sorts of things. Any kind of resource that will connect a cultural worker to what's out there or that we've developed for them, we can put that on our website and they'll get it in our newsletter.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I would think the newsletter would be, if you're in this industry, the newsletter would be critical because it would keep you up to date.
Yes.
I mean, it'd almost be like having the website delivered to you with things, again, services that you offer.
Sure.
And so forth. Now, you got a big event coming up
Yes.
on November the 2nd, so let's talk about that.
That's called La Fête Louisiane. And again, since we're a statewide organization, we try to involve contemporary artists and visual artists and performers from all over the state. What we're doing this year, we're doing something on Magazine Street in a really unique space. We're transforming a 4-story interior parking garage, into a very swampy scene with a Louisiana vibe, sort of a seafood theme. And we're going to have all sorts of music from all over the state. We're going to have some awards. Our main sponsor is Barrios, Kingsdorf, and Castix. And of course, you guys are sponsors, and we're really thrilled about that. And so we'll have some Zydeco music, but perhaps one of the most interesting things is that we're going to end the night with a silent disco, and our live on stage DJ is Michael Hecht from G&O Inc.
Oh, wow. Now,
Yeah.
a silent disco.
Yes.
It's the first time.
Yes.
It's the first time I've ever heard that
Well,
term
and
being
I
used.
expect to see you out there doing something with your headset on.
If it's a silent disco, I'll be okay.
Well, we're going to probably rotate with a little bit of sound and a lot of silent time too, because what happens is the folks who are wearing the headsets tend to dance and make some sounds and sing,
Yeah.
and everybody else watches. So it's really funny.
Amy, they're giving me the cue that we're about to run out of time, so thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you
talking
for
about
having me.
November the 2nd. The website is culturaleconomy.org. Go to that site, get all the information on the foundation, the incredible fundraiser it sounds like that they've got coming up, and we just got the address for a sneak peek, so drive by and take a peek inside. You've been watching Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.